A plethora of 1 kg to 2 kg shad.
On the positive side, the keelback have started to show their face, along with some real nice amberjacks and yellowtail.
There are such a variety of species on the bite, from Rockcod to grey shark, cob. Oh, the possibilities are endless.
There you go, buddy. Hit now!
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green.
Hey, how was the fishing under the full moon? Oh, guys, it has been a decent week. Now, I know for some anglers, they were complaining the fish don't bite under the full moon. Guys, trust me, it still did. We've got anglers around the entire coastline that's been sending me catches all week. So, whoever's talking about the fish not biting under the full moon, the spring tides are too much, there's too much force in the water, it's sucked out or near too deep, guys, it's all a myth, right? There has been fish on the KZN coastline and a variety of fish. In fact, some areas better than the others. So we are going to get into this. And it's not just my word. It's literally every single one of our reporters are bragging about the species that's been on the bite this week. And in fact, the winter species that we have been waiting for has arrived. So we're going to get into it. We are super excited. I hope you are too. So make sure to turn up the volume because we are going to get into this week's hottest KZN fishing reports. But before we do, guys, you shout out to our sponsors, the Kingfisher.
Meet the all-new Crossfire LT, redesigned to transform every cast into a moment worth remembering. With advanced air drive design, feel ultra-smooth, effortless rotation that is light, clean, and incredibly responsive. At its core, tough digigear delivers lasting durability and consistent power, cast after cast. The LC ABS spool boosts your casting distance while reducing line trouble, giving you total control on the water. And when the pressure's on, the ATD Type L drag system keeps things smooth, steady, and in your hands, lightweight, strong, and reliable. The Crossfire LT available in sizes 1000, 2000, 3000C, and 4000C. Fish smarter, fish smoother, fish Crossfire LT. Available at tackle stores nationwide.
Thank you, the Kingfisher. The show could not be possible without them. And guys, just remember, Kingfisher has launched their membership program where they are giving away 80,000 Rand worth of reels. So go and check it out on their social. Sign up. It's free. They just love giving you stuff. You know what? You're going to need it. By the way, this month, you could be the one fishing with the all-new Daiwa Saltiga, valued at 30,000 Rand. Why would you not want to take advantage of this? All right, cool. So that's our sponsors, the Kingfisher. Now let's get into the fishing reports where Durban is absolutely cooking. And we're going to start it off with Mike V and Brad Krobler.
How's it, guys? Yes, it's still all about the edibles, with definitely a couple grey sharks thrown in the mix. One or two nice size greys up to about 15, 18 kilo size. But definitely about the edibles. Quite a bit of cob coming out north and south coast. Along our Durban North beaches, the guys are getting some lovely cob at Beechwood and the Virginia stretch. Garrick, the guys have been getting Garrick on live bait. Again, Beechwood, Virginia stretch, even coming down towards Blue Lagoon. Some lovely Garrick being caught. Shad have been rampant all over the place. Beachfront piers going up towards Blue Lagoon and all the spots going on the north coast and on the south coast. Stumpies, grunters in the mix there as well. But yeah, it was mainly about the cob and the Garrick that have shown up. The guys are getting some nice numbers of those. And the oaks that want some reef fish have been chasing the bronze bream, rock cod, stone bream, things like that. So the rock and surf sessions are doing very well. The guys on the pedal skis and the ski boats still getting some lovely Couta, Snoek, one or two tunnies still coming out. Apparently there's 2 sailies hooked. I'm not sure how good the info is, but yeah, apparently there was 2 good sailies hooked and lost. But yeah, the guys also fishing on the bottom, keelback, doggers, and some very good reef fish there. So they're doing very well on the pedal skis and ski boats. Durban Bay, lots of juvenile grunter. Piles and piles of little grunters. In the mix there, a couple keys on ultralight fishing, spoons and little plugs and things like that. No springer. It's gotten a little bit too late for them. But that's been the main aim of the game, has been the grunters. Guys, enjoy. This is Mike V for NSA News.
Good day, guys. Brad Yalinski, Fishing Charters. Guys, the ski boat report for the Durban area over the last week. Guys, we've had some really strange currents and stuff happening out and some really strange weather phenomena out there. On the positive side, the keelback have started to show their face, along with some real nice amberjacks and yellowtail. Also out in the real deep, if you want to, there have been a couple of coppers, diambrusses, popping their noses up on the southern side. The general bottom fishing with slingers and soldiers, yeah, they're up and down all the day, depending on the currents. But yeah, generally they were eating pretty well this week. On the game fish side, they came a bit wild yesterday off the Durban beachfront area, which is quite strange by veggies. But yeah, general fishing has been pretty good for this last week. And with the water temperature dropping quite rapidly at the moment, yeah, the sardines should be arriving very soon. So guys, this is Brad for Angling News South Africa. Tight lines, and speak to you guys all next week.
Thank you, Mike and Brad. Absolutely amazing report, guys. A mixed bag of species, mainly edibles, but definitely with those grey sharks on the mix, something definitely to catch for everyone. And as for those juvenile grunter and the thousands of them in the Durban harbour, firstly, I'm glad to hear that the fish are back in the harbour and all the brown water has been washed out. And there's nothing wrong with going and catching some small grunter on ultralight fishing. Hey, as long as we're getting those rods bedded, that's all that really matters. As for the music to our ears, the Ambers are in town. So thank you so much for reporting on that, Brad. All right, guys, so we know Durban is cooking. What's happening up on the North Coast? Well, let's find out from Michaela Daniels.
What's up, everyone? This is Michaela from Durban, reporting for Angling News SA. It's been another spectacular week of fishing along our coastline, and kicking things off, we're at Blue Lagoon, where it's been an absolute mixed bag from Garrick to Shad to grunter to half cob. It's all been coming out. While for the guys at Beechwood, there's been a couple of grunter and Shad around, but it's mainly been all about the rays still. Moving up to Virginia, the Shad is still coming out in the early mornings and late afternoons, with the odd grunter in between. While for our Mklanga anglers, there are still a few Shad coming out, as well as a few wave Garrick and a few stumpies. For Mkloti, the Shad quietened down, but there have been a few Rockcod coming out, as well as a few small kingies. While for the offshore side of things, Durban is still producing Couta and Snoek off backline and the shallower bait marks, with a few Garrick in the mix too. While for the bottom side of things, there's still been a lot of Geelbeck and Daga coming out amongst the usual reds and Rockcods. While for Mkloti, there's been some big Couta and Snoek coming out, while the deep is still producing yellowfin tuna. And for the bottoms, the guys are still getting into some lovely Geelbeck, Daga, Rockcod, and the odd yellowtail. Moving right up the coast to Polito, there's been some lovely Shad and half cobs coming out with a few Garrick, making an appearance too, while St. Lucia is still producing some GT, speckled snappers, and Shad. For the offshore side, Polito is still firing with Snoek and Couta, while St. Lucia is still producing yellowfin tuna, sailfish, and Couta. That's going to be it from me for this week, guys. Tight lines and have a great one.
Thank you, Michaela. Always getting us excited to fish this weekend. That North Coast is definitely calling. And you know what? Here's Richard, who's going to reiterate why everything Michaela is saying makes perfect sense. I mean, she is fishing. She's got her ears on the ground. She is talking about all that fish up there. Richard is going to tell us some spots where to catch them and exactly how to read the water to get them.
This week's surf fishing report from Lobota's Ski Boat Club at Tugela Mouth continues to be a story of a plethora of 1 kg to 2 kg shad, cob averaging 4 to 6 kgs, good size, and a few of the odd double digits. Good sized stumpies and wave garricks coming out too, plus the inevitable sharks. Successful fishing at Tugela Mouth is all about presenting bait effectively and finding where the fish are feeding. At Tugela Mouth, you don't always need to thwack it out there and cast as far as you can, as the fish can be found in 4 simple areas. Firstly, the lip or the drop-off right in front of you, right in front of the dry sand. After all, that's the place where food such as crabs, worm and small fry often gets washed up to. Secondly, read the water. Look for the gutters and the channels of darker, deeper water running parallel to the shore. At Tugela Mouth, this is often just 40 to 60 metres away, and it's the highway, it's the M3 for fish movement. Then third, again, read the water, find the sandbars. These elevated sand peaks are where the waves break, and fish like to hang around waiting for the food to wash close by. Finally and fourthly, again, read the water for the rips and the cuttings in the sandbar, where the water pushes back out in a strong undercurrent. These cuttings are like the R102 and a natural flow of food for the fish. Tight lines, guys.
Wow, Richard, such great knowledge shared with us, such great content coming out of there. Guys, this is what I love about our Anglo News reporters. It's not just saying, oh, no, go here, go there, there's the fish. Guys, they are explaining why, and they're giving us great insights as to what to look for when you are fishing these areas. Such incredible, valuable content. Thank you so much, Richard. We are so grateful. All right, guys, now while we're on the North Coast, just a reminder, we are just 1 or 2 weeks away from the Meerensee 21 species. Guys, I'm so looking forward to that event because you get to catch 21 species and get prizes for that. I think the first prize is valued at like 100 grand. But apart from that, it's for the kids as well, so go and get those kids involved, get the kids fishing. We are always talking about fishing for the future. There is a great opportunity happening right in the thick of their school holidays. All right, so guys, that's our Durban North Coast. Now, what's happening on the Midlands? Jan has some amazing content to deliver to us with regards to the safety factors. But more than that, he's also talking about that still water action. I'm going to leave him to get into it with us.
Hey there, guys. So while some will say that we haven't really even had a winter yet, and there was much murmuring in the weeks earlier in the weather groups about a massive frontal system that was about to hit South Africa, it seems that it might just fizzle out before reaching up here in the Midlands. The previous forecast of sub-zero temperatures are now a good couple of notches up. But, hey guys, from past experience, don't pack your winter woolies away just yet. For the river anglers, the trout rivers are now officially closed for the next 3 months, and the season reopens again on 1 September. But for those that are still wanting or needing a fix for moving water, the winter yellowfish or scaly fishing can be one of the best times, with clear rivers and fish rising to hatches. So guys, keep an eye on the ground and an eye on your favorite water, and grab the opportunity when it presents itself. That being said, for the trout anglers, still water season is now officially open. And what has been after some months of doldrums in the trout still waters of the Midlands, water temperatures have dropped into the lower double figures, that is 10 to 12 degrees, and the fish have had a bit of an awakening that winter is still on the cards. There have been some waters clearly showing off and some great fish that have been had, so it certainly looks like we are over the starting line and off to the races. There have been a number of returns this past week from the Natal Fly Fishers Club waters, and with the bulk of the catches taping in the 11 to 13 inch, that is 28 to 33 centimeter bracket, but there have also been a few fish in the upper end of the tape in the 17 to 19 inch or 43 to 48 centimeter class. Olive was the color of the week, and Dragonfly Nymph patterns the pattern of the week. Guys, for those that read the fish reports in the newspapers, the column has been banging on about foot and mouth disease drum ad nauseum for months on end now. And it has unfortunately risen to new heights with a sudden cancellation of the Camberg Trout Festival, which should have been taking place this weekend. While vaccinations have taken place, dairy farmers are fearing for their livestock, as foot and mouth disease is a highly contagious virus that mutates rapidly, just like COVID did, constantly producing new variants that can reduce the effectiveness of existing and current vaccines. With a number of stillwater events still currently confirmed, biosecurity remains a critical component of foot and mouth disease control. All anglers and visitors traversing the Greater Midlands are advised to please take heed of biosecurity measures and to heed all biosecurity notices and signage around the Midlands, and to please comply with any movement regulations and assist where possible with hygiene and risk reduction measures to safeguard the local livestock. Akin to Zippermouth Creek, if you know, you know, there's been nary a word coming from the bass angling fraternity from both Albert Falls and Midmar dams. Perhaps just a fear of sharing from those anglers who might be, maybe, or are catching, that with so much advice being bandied about lures and techniques, there is no quote-unquote proof in the pudding, i.e. fish to be seen. So guys, do show and tell. Do stop in at the Kingfisher Maritzburg for the best and tackle advice. And this is Jan Korabel reporting for Anglo News South Africa and Kingfisher Pietermaritzburg.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you for the awareness on the foot and mouth. But more than that, thank you for getting me so amped to whoop out that Daiwa S4 of mine, because trout fishing here we come. All right, so Midlands is absolutely cracking with that trout. I can't wait to go and throw a fly line. But for now, we are moving back down to the coast to find out what's happening on the mid-south coast of KZN.
It was a lovely week down south. Unfortunately, the Westleys came through and warmed the water up, so the Shad went off the bite, the Garrick went off the bite, and the only fish around were grey sharks. Guys, we had lovely flat seas. The only fish that I could see that was coming out consistently as far as edible fish were lanterns at night time. Guys, there's a lot of lanterns moving down the coast. especially that whole Umgababa area, Umkamas, Greenpoint area. Wherever there's rocks, you will find lanterns at night. So guys, go out there, have a lot of fun. There are fish around.
Thank you, Ray. Looks like that warm water has certainly brought out those non-airs, but you know what? I have no doubt we're just 1 or 2 weeks away from that thick winter action. All right, now let's head on down to the lower South Coast where we are with the one and only, the legendary Adam Lyon.
Hey, Vinesh, I hope you're doing well, bud. So things down on the South Coast have definitely not been fireworks. However, that being said, it is the South Coast, so there are fish around. Now, in terms of fishing down on the South Coast, it's been a little bit sort of quiet, but also a couple of days of exceptional fishing. And again, Vinesh, that is exactly what the South Coast is all about. You don't know what you're going to get. Now, in terms of species, the Rockcod are definitely around. We've seen a lot of catfish and yellow belly Rockcod pop up, and I'm talking bus size, even today popping off at Uvongo Pier, which is absolutely crazy. Really nice to see that as well. A couple of cob around and a few bus size shad. In terms of deep sea, the guys have been getting a few dorado, a couple of smaller tuna. Now we know that the water has been a bit warm between that sort of 22, 25 degree mark. So guys, in terms of the sardines, it is not ideal because the sards do prefer the colder water. So no, nothing yet, unfortunately, with the sardines. They are not in KZN as far as anybody is concerned, but we are holding thumbs and we are holding up that they will be moving up shortly. But on top of things, Vinesh, there's also been a couple of Garrick around with guys trying on plug. Obviously, as we know, the gentleman of the sea prefers that particular, or a live bait. And there have been 1 or 2 popping up here and there. That is for sure. And in terms of the non-eds, yes, guys, the guys are still getting hounds, they're still getting hammers, and they're still getting loads of grey, dusky sharks. Because again, that is just what happens prior to the sardine season kicking off. Now, I know everybody is excited for the sardine season because it just makes an absolute boost to KZN in terms of the economy and also the fishing and just the excitement. Even people coming down on holiday just to see the greatest shoal on earth. Now, if you want to stay abreast of the news and of things happening, stay tuned to Angler News SA on East Coast Radio, because that is where you're going to find the latest and the greatest news in terms of the sardines. Otherwise, guys, stay safe, tight lines, and let's see those catches.
Adam, even when it's not so good as the previous week, you are still rocking with that positivity. I love it. I absolutely love it. Guys, all our reporters are so positive over this past week. There is certainly no moon that can stop us from going out and catching that fish. So here's the plan, right? Durban is on fire. North Coast is on fire. Midlands is on fire. The South Coast is on fire with 1 or 2 better days. There are such a variety of species on the bite, from Rockcod to grey sharks to shad to stumpies to cob. Oh, the possibilities are endless. I love KZN. I don't think there's anywhere in the world I would prefer to fish than here because of the variety. We can go fresh or salt. It really doesn't matter. Now, I would love to hear from you as to where you are planning on fishing this weekend. The conditions are looking good. The weather's looking lined up. All that's left for now to do is head out there and get fishing. So, with that being said, until the next one.
This is the Angler News SA podcast. I'm Vanessa Green. Find more episodes at ecr.co.za under podcasts or your favorite podcast app. Let's fish for the future.